All right. Hello, everybody. We're going to wait just maybe about 30 seconds for folks to be able to jump on. I'm your Denver County Clerk and Recorder, Paul Lopez. I have the honor and the privilege to represent you as your clerk and recorder. Know that our office of the clerk and recorder is easily findable, searchable. You can get on the web and go to denverclerkandrecorder.org. You know, four things that we concentrate on: city clerk, our elections, the public office of the public trustee, and our county records and recordings. So this has to do with our public trustee's office, and that is yours truly. I am the oddball in Colorado that I'm the only county clerk that's also a public trustee. The public trustee's office was created, in short, way back in the day to make sure that in matters regarding foreclosures, that the third party is not a for-profit or private entity. It is a public entity. And so there you have it. We are responsible to make sure that the foreclosure process in this county is fair, it's transparent, and it's run by the public. I wanted to welcome you all to the town hall. So we will have a series of town halls that we're organizing throughout the next few months. We'd like to do this in person, but it's getting kind of cliche to say everything's virtual now, and it is. So we were able to do this virtually so that you can watch this from your home as you're preparing, dinner or sitting at your desk or your kitchen table from work or wherever you are that you are able to see this on Facebook Live. So with that, we have a great for town hall for you today. I will want to introduce a couple of folks, and we'll get right through this presentation. Know that this is recorded and it'll be posted on Facebook. You'll be able to see it. So if you miss something on accident, you can hit rewind. I think some of you folks know what rewind still means. But you can go back and look at it again. And then also share it with folks. Please feel free to tag us or to share or tag people in and share this with other folks that could use the information. Right. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to our I'm gonna give you kind of some instructions for captions. I totally forgot how to do that. So I will. What you can do is you can go down to live transcript at CC, and you could do the closed caption side of it. That way, you are able to see what's going on. The other thing is this meeting is recorded, like I said, and we'll have plenty of those other meetings coming down the pike. So without further ado, why don't we get this show started? I want to introduce our first panelist. This is going to be a panel about direct resources, right? Now, know that in our office of the public trustee, the county clerk, we can't give advice. We can't give legal advice, but the whole purpose here is to educate you all about the process. It could be a really scary process, foreclosures, right? And you think about that when you get that notice, it jolts you, but that's not the end of the story, right? You actually have rights, and there's process that's a public process that we can help you understand and navigate. So, and that's our whole purpose, is just to educate folks about the process. The more educated you are about it, the more that you're in the know, the more you know what to expect. So our first presenter is going to be Mr. Ivan Sanchez. He has a professional background in financial services. So he's definitely an expert when it comes to that field. Specifically, he was a personal banker for Citigroup, and later was an underwriting associate. So Mr. Sanchez, welcome, and take it away.
Thank you so much, Clerk Lopez. Yes, my first slide is we're gonna be discussing the value of using a housing of urban development approved housing counseling agency. And next slide, please. We're gonna talk about why and how. And to get started, why work with a HUD certified housing counselor? Primarily, they are trained and trusted professionals that have been certified by the government that can evaluate your unique housing situations and give you recommendations that are not product-based, tied to nonprofit organizations. Um, how would a HUD certified housing counselor help you? Well, some examples would be through a personalized one-on-one review. This review would, which any HUD certified housing counselor would be more than happy to provide, would give insight into your specific circumstance. The housing counselor could present all the options, be a support resource for you, and mainly function as an information resource. And next slide, please. Lastly, when would someone want to reach out to work with a HUD certified housing counselor? Well, some of the more great times to reach out would be for default foreclosure prevention. Through that, they would be able to assess your situation and present you all the options to make sure that you are aware of your rights and know of every step that you have and what you can take. They can also assist with mortgage and homeowners association fees, as well as any property tax issues. And that's it for me.
All right. Thank you. And know that, is there an echo?
Oh, sorry.
Clerk Lopez, I just wanted to comment. Ivan is right on about all the value using one of the HUD-approved counseling agencies in the Metro Denver area. We also want to encourage you to realize to look for a HUD-approved agency in Metro Denver, not out of state, because our 7 agencies understand local and state programs versus out-of-state programs. They may not be knowledgeable of any of our special programs that we can offer here to our residents. So.
And that's very good, Charlotte. And I want folks who are watching this to really take note of that as well too. When we at the end of this, we're actually going to provide a list of some of the resources so that you can contact and ask questions and do follow up as well too. But that's very important. Always stay local, folks, and especially with something like this. Our law, states' laws differ from one state to the other, and so like I mentioned before, our office even is guided by laws that are completely unique to our state and the rest of the country. So I have the honor to actually introduce our next speaker. And I just have a world of respect for our next speaker. This is Ms. Veronica Acosta. I've come to know Ms. Acosta in a capacity in the community that's just, you run into some of these folks in the community, and their heart and their spirit to help people is right there on their sleeve, and she is one of them. So and she is bilingual as well too. So para que los que hablan español y necesitan ayuda en su idioma, nosotros vamos a tener un foro en español, pero también la señora Verónica Acosta también les puede ayudar en español. And what I said is that we're going to have a Spanish language town hall, but Ms. Veronica Acosta has had, she's bilingual and she's able to help folks in Spanish as well too. So she's from she is the Housing Counseling Program Manager for NewSed CDC. And NewSed CDC is a nonprofit organization that's focused on providing various community resources, such as like homeownership, counseling, among others. And as a HUD certified counselor and manager, Veronica ensures the implementation of best practice models in the housing programs to include pre-purchase, post-purchase, foreclosure prevention, and the home buyer education workshops, which are really, really helpful. And if you haven't had an opportunity to really sign up for that, you should. They're super helpful in understanding such a complex and changing environment, right? So she started working with NewSed CDC in 2012 as a housing counselor and has worked her way up to her current position. And prior to joining NewSed, Veronica attained her lending education at the National Lender Services Incorporated. And she also served as a home mortgage consultant in the private sector for 12 years with companies like Wells Fargo Mortgage and even a company of her own. So without further ado, I present to you and welcome Ms. Veronica Acosta. Go ahead. The presentation is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. I'm gonna reinforce the information that already Ivan and Charlotte provide to you and talk about one of the most common questions and the people have is how I can get one of these services. And first of all, they need to call one of the 7 organizations are here in Denver is what we recommend to call local agencies. And after they call and they talk to with the counselor, they need to provide all the requirement documents. One of the documents gonna be income documentation, expenses, and also the application. All these services are free, so we don't charge for services. The only thing we require is to provide this application and also the documents so we can work with the clients. And after they provide those documents, they can call and set up an appointment with a counselor. This appointment for now, for the situation of the COVID-19, need to be over the phone or video call. So it's how we can provide in these services for now. Next, please. What to expect from housing counseling? One of the first things that the counselor gonna do after they receive this information for the clients gonna be income calculation to see what is the situation and for that client. Budget, in the budget, the counselor gonna check income versus debt, and they're gonna do also credit analysis and provide some referrals. Next, please. After the counselor do an assessment in the case of foreclosure prevention counseling, these services to help the clients to avoid foreclosure. And based on each situation, the counselor gonna find some options for the client so the client can take the decision. Uh, with all the information the counselor gonna provide. One of the options are here to stay in the home is reinstatement, is to pay back all the arrears. The other one is repayment plan, so they pay and make a monthly payments until they pay all the arrears. Forbearance and modification. These all are the options for home retention. And also, if the payment is not affordable anymore for the clients, they have all options too before foreclosure. They can do a short sale or deed in lieu. Foreclosure is always the last resort that we provide our clients because they can sell the home and they can keep the equity and move on with the other housing options. So it's all the services we provide. And also we recommend that people to try to prevent the scam and be very careful. If they have questions and they're not sure what to do, call these organizations, make an appointment, talk to the counselors. And that's gonna be for all for me. At the end gonna be the information. If you have more questions, you can call us, or in this presentation, we're gonna respond some of the questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Acosta. Thank you so much for your presentation and your advice. And for folks who are watching, you feel free to type in and ask questions. We will make sure we address those questions at the end. So I want to get kind of through these little quick presentations so that we can address some of the questions that you have. The next person up is the Deputy Director for the Office of Financial Empowerment and Protection, and otherwise known as OFEP. And it's a pretty cool acronym because you got that P popping at the end. OFEP. So Alvin Tafoya has an extensive background in leadership and programmatic service delivery models. He's been with the city with us for a while, and he's concentrated in the last 2 decades with his experience in human services. He's worked in Jefferson County. He's directed child support services, done a responsible fatherhood program, parent employment projects, worked with TANF, child care assistance, long-term care, workforce innovation and opportunity act. So Alvin Tafoya is a good dude and really cares about folks in our community, and it's great to have Alvin working in the city on behalf of the people. So Alvin, why don't you go ahead and take it away so you could talk a little bit about financial coaching and some of the other services that your organization has. We hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez, Alvin Tafoya. Whether you're listening for yourself or you want to share this information with your family and friends, it's very important information. By all means, please feel free to share this information. Uh, Financial coaching is our primary objective, and we're doing a case management with our housing partners. And so, if you're already in financial distress regarding your mortgage, you're probably dealing with some other financial challenges in the home. And through our financial coaching process, we provide free unlimited financial coaching, 1 session, 3 sessions, 5, 10. We have people come back annually. If you go to the doctor annually to get a checkup, you should get a financial checkup also annually. So you know where you're at and you know where you're going. So that's free and unlimited. Whether you start now and want to come back next year, that's fine. What we do in those coaching sessions is we do a soft credit pull, so we can do an assessment of where you're at with your finances, uh, you know, expenditures and debts and things like that, and so we can help you. So you have a partner in this, so that we can walk with you through the process. Obviously, the HUD counselors will definitely help with that foreclosure process. But because of our relationship and our wraparound services, we wanted to make sure that you have all the resources you need to get through this process. And so we also offer free tax prep through our VITA sites. DABC is one of them. And so, that's almost $350 that you save on tax prep. And so let's make sure that you work with us to get free tax prep. We also have free tax payer advocate. If you've had challenges in the past or you have unsettled IRS issues, we have a free advocate organization that'll come in and sit down with you and help you work through that issue. It's free and it's way less expensive than a local attorney. However, if you feel you need an attorney, by all means, please seek one. We also want to work with you on your budgeting and how to improve your credit, reduce your debt, increase savings. We also have a consumer protection arm as well that we'll talk about a little bit later. So if we can go to the next slide. We also have Navigator. We call them Financial Navigator foreclosure resources. But basically, we have our pulse on all the organizations, nonprofit, for-profits, that are providing assistance out in the community. And so if you're behind on your HOA fees and they're trying to put a lien on your property or already have a lien, that's something that we can help you find free HOA assistance, as well as property tax assistance, mortgage assistance. We have attorneys on retainer for legal service assistance that we're working with. One option in foreclosure is bankruptcy. And if you have to go down that road, we have a process by which we can point you in the right direction for bankruptcy. And then again, we're pretty much the premier educator of COVID-19 resources in the community. There's money coming from the feds, coming from the governor's office, the mayor's office, and we know where those funds are at and the organizations that are providing them. And we're going to navigate you to those resources so that we can assist you in that process. And we provide advocacy as well. Next slide, please. A Navigator family resources. Like I said, if you're challenged with making your mortgage payment, you probably need help with your utilities. You probably need help with food assistance. You may need help paying your child care assistance payments. There's just a lot that we do. Obviously, having a job is super important in this process. So we can help you navigate you to the right places for job resources and assistance. Also, if you have families that are struggling right now, we have rental assistance. We can point you to food assistance, like I said, childcare, medical assistance, transportation assistance, again, tax prep and tax advocacy resolution and assistance. And so, these are some of the resources. Whatever challenge that you're having, by all means, please give us a call. We know that not every family fits neatly in an eligibility box. And so give us a call and let's see what we can do to support you. Next slide, please. This is our contact information if you'd like to get a hold of us. 720-944-2498, 720-944-2498, or email us at fec@denvergov.org and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you. Next slide.
Thank you, Mr. Tafoya, and thank you so much for your input, your expertise in that presentation. One of the things that we're going to do at this point is those of you who are participating in this town hall, who are watching us live, write the questions on the chat. This is one in a series of presentations that we're going to have a few of them coming up. What I want to do, if you can go backwards on the slide, sorry. So I also want to give a shout out, right? Because some of these folks are actually here. These organizations are here, and they will be available, some water. They'll be available for your questions and answers. And so, DHA, which is the Denver Housing Authority, NEDHC, CHOC, Southwest Improvement Council, Brothers Redevelopment, which is BRI, NewSed, and Del Norte. There's so many different resources. And also, if you're facing foreclosure and need to know the process and things like that, and you live in Denver County, don't forget to hit us up. The Denver Clerk and Recorder's Office, that's the Public Trustee's Office. So we have some individuals that are here that'll help. My Chief Deputy Public Trustee, John Davies, Enrica Bustos from Brothers Redevelopment, Betsy Kumar. I mean, we have a lot of folks, Charlotte O'Donnell, Veronica Acosta, the incomparable Veronica Acosta, here to help answer some of these questions. So let's get to the questions. We have one question. When does it make sense, and that's how to contact our folks, when does it make sense to refer someone to OFEP, so the Office of Financial Education and Empowerment, right? Financial Empowerment and Protection, versus directly to a housing counseling agency?
So I might take that, Paul, Clerk Lopez. If someone is in default already, especially facing a scheduled foreclosure sale, I would encourage them to immediately contact one of the HUD-approved counseling agencies, because time is of the essence. But what I want to say to all of you, either way, either door, as I quote Alvin Tafoya, either door, you will benefit from both the focused housing counseling services and the OFEP services. A lot of the HOA assistance, mortgage assistance, the housing counselings are aware of. But whether you start with OFEP or you start with one of the HUD-approved counseling agencies, we're going to work together to make sure you benefit from all of the resources that we can offer you. And everything is free. So.
Thank you, Charlotte. Another question. Al, I don't know if you wanted to.
Yes, let me just real quick. So first I want to thank Paul Lopez for bringing us all together to the table to develop a process that there is no wrong door. We also provide wraparound services because we want to make sure that you're able to land on your feet appropriately. Like Charlotte said, it's a no wrong door approach. If you contact us that same day, within 24 hours, we're going to immediately refer you to a HUD, one of the HUD agencies. And so know that, and vice versa. If they're working with, if you happen to go to their shop first to work with that, they're also going to refer you to us as well, because like we stated, if you're having some challenges, there's probably some other gaps in the household finances that we want to help you with. So thank you.
And that's really important, folks, is to know that, there's a lot of different counseling available. And, finance is complex, right? There are a lot of different life events that can take place that really put a lot of different things off kilter. So I think, having that, those services there are very, very important, access to that. Another question, are there any of these services available to people who are undocumented? And are there services available in other languages?
I can take that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Veronica.
Yeah, yeah, the services are, yeah, for everybody. Doesn't need to be in document when they're coming for foreclosure prevention. Yeah, doesn't need to be a document. Yeah, and our service is always going to be free. And what was the last part of the question? I forgot.
Are there services available in other languages?
Oh, yeah, it's another language. Special. We have 3 of those 7 organizations are bilingual in Spanish. So yeah, we provide those services in Spanish too.
Yeah. And if there are other, go ahead, Alvin, I'm sorry.
Yeah, in the Office of Financial Empowerment Protection, we provide languages in any language that you're most comfortable with. Currently, we created our foreclosure documents in 14 different primary languages in the city and county of Denver. And so if you go to the main website and you look it up, they probably have the languages translated for you on our 2-pager document. We did do the longer version in Spanish and in Vietnamese, and we're also going to present a Vietnamese town hall as well, and one in Spanish. So feel free to get a hold of us and we'll take care of you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And know, folks, that, you know, anytime you interact with the city, a lot of our partners here have multiple access points for different languages. And, you know, the other thing too is that we need to make sure it's well understood that in the city and county of Denver, it's none of our business to know what your immigration status is. You are a human being, you're living in this city, breathing in this city, and have questions regarding counseling or foreclosure or anything like that, we are here to serve you. Y es importante saber en español decir que aquí nosotros con la ciudad y nuestros socios en la comunidad, estas organizaciones que no son lucrativos, a nosotros no importa estatus legal. Eso es algo que yo quiero que todos hoy en la comunidad somos seres humanos. Aquí no es nuestro negocio saber su estatus legal. Todos están bienvenidos a recibir estos tipos de servicios. Let me ask another question from folks on the chat. Do the services have a fee? Do you have to be a resident of the city and county of Denver?
No, doesn't have any fee. And yeah, we serve primary Denver, but that's not limited to Colorado. Somebody call from outside of Denver, yeah, we can give that service also. But yeah, we serve primary Denver in no fee at all.
And I could speak for the city. You know, if you're coming to Denver and you live in Adams County or you live in another jurisdiction, we will help guide you to the jurisdiction where you need to be, especially in the city with the foreclosures. And you know, if you're in another county and facing foreclosures, there are other public trustees. Probably none as freedom as this one, but I'm going to tell you straight up that there are other public trustees in counties that are assigned to them under their jurisdiction that are willing to help you as well too. So know that that's definitely the case. I don't know, Yvonne or Charlotte or Al, if you have anything else. John.
I just wanted to say really quick, thanks, Paul. Like Paul was saying earlier, Denver County is unique with the public trustee being part of the clerk and recorder's office. So if you are in a different county, Adams, Arapahoe, Jeffco, whatever, and you're looking for public trustee services specifically, you'll want to contact that county's treasurer as opposed to their clerk and recorder.
That's right. And John, you bring something very, very important up. Again, so those of you who are in other counties, I'm the only weirdo that is the county clerk and the trustee. Everybody else, they're all the trustee and treasurer. Okay, so remember that. You guys thought that was amusing, didn't you? Okay, so yes. Next question. So given the housing shortage in Denver and surrounding areas, if someone is struggling with or know that they will or know that will once they're so let me read this again. If somebody is struggling with or know that they will once forbearance period is, or that their forbearance period is over, would it be prudent to see what their home is worth and considering selling, which may be an option to be able to maximize their equity and avoid foreclosure and possible bankruptcy?
I'll go ahead and kick in a response. Always, as noted on one of the slides that Veronica posted, sale of a home, a private sale, not foreclosure sale, is always an option for someone. And everyone's at a different emotional place going through this process. Some are saying, I'm ready to sell. Some are saying, let's hold on and assess every option we can. So as a HUD-approved housing counselor, we will go through all of those options with folks and help them come to that decision. If selling is an option or not, and when the timing of that might work best for them, and certainly help them navigate how do they select a real estate agent, what questions should they consider, how do they prepare for the move. And I love the question as well, does HUD assist owners with conventional loans? HUD-approved housing counseling agencies and HUD-certified housing counselors assist anyone with that is a homeowner. They may not have any mortgage, but they may have a HOA concern or a property tax concern. So we are directed by HUD to assist anyone with concerns regarding their mortgage, HOA, and or property taxes, irrelevant of how many liens are on the house, irrelevant of the type of liens or loans on the property.
Perfect.
Well, if I could add, it's a very complicated process. That's why Paul brought us to the table to help streamline the process and make it a little bit more simple for, folks out in the community. And one thing that we do know is that if your mortgage is federally backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, there are different opportunities that can be leveraged by your housing counselor versus those that do not have a federally backed mortgage loan.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. So another part to that question is also, will HUD assist owners with a conventional loan?
And again, going back, all HUD-approved counseling agencies are directed by HUD to assist folks, irrelevant of what the type of loan is, how many liens there are, whether it's private lien, anything. We will counsel people through this process to help them assess what their options are.
Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Sure.
Our next question I'm going to direct to my Chief Deputy Public Trustee, Mr. John Davies. Mr. Davies, can you give us a simple timeline in terms of what the foreclosure timeline looks like?
Yeah, so the foreclosure process in our office takes a little bit over 120 days. So it's about 4 months from start to finish, from when we receive a file to when we auction the property at our sale. And for those 4 months, the homeowners have some options to get out of foreclosure. Again, I would definitely recommend contacting one of those HUD-approved counselors. They'll help you sort through those options. But for our office, you have the option to cure, and you can do that through our office, which is just like a reinstatement. It's essentially bringing your loan back to a current state where you're all caught up with your payments. Bankruptcy sort of pushes pause on the foreclosure process until you sort out the bankruptcy as well. So that may be a last resort kind of thing, and you should definitely talk to your HUD counselor to make sure that that's a good option for you. But it's something that puts pause on the foreclosure, makes it take longer to get to that auction. And so that's pretty much it. The sale can happen the sale's initially set, like I said, for about 120 days after we receive that filing. But the lender does have the option to push that sale out for as much as a year. So if you're working with your lender directly, they'll probably help you by giving you that extra time there. If you're working on a forbearance agreement or some kind of agreement with your lender. And it also gives you extra time to cure. Unfortunately, our office can't do that unilaterally, so you'll definitely want to work with your lender if you need that extra time.
Thank you. That's excellent. And for folks that have any other further questions on that, please feel free to give us a call, pay us a visit. The Denver Clerk and Recorder's office. It's denverclerkandrecorder.org, and just chime in hashtag Mile High Clerk. So if you are into the hashtag thing, hit us up. That was my hashtag.
It was
Right.
cool. I thought you were playing baseball. Tell me to take third base or something. But just real quick, the documents we prepared for the community members, there's a timeline on there that'll show you exactly where you're at in your process. But we encourage you as early as possible to get a hold of a HUD certified counselor and the Office of Financial Empowerment and Protection. So please feel free to go to the website, pull those documents in whatever language you're most proficient in. And there's a timeline there for you, a list of definitions, and also resources as well. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thanks for that addition. A couple more questions. Is there direct financial assistance for people struggling to pay their mortgage?
Well, I guess I'll pitch in unless someone else wants to. There are assistance programs. There's the EHAP program, which is a state program. Ivan or Enrica, you might want to say something about that. There's we have a program through OFEP that Alvin can talk about. And there's also private funds through a program called MAP, Mortgage Assistance Program, which is private funds. So those programs will be considered when any of the housing counselors review things with you and assess which program might best serve you. So I'll be quiet and let others chime in.
Thanks, Charlotte. So there is the Emergency Housing Assistance Program that is offered through the state of Colorado that helps Colorado residents facilitate mortgage assistance and also past due rent assistance who were COVID impacted going back to March of 2020. So if you feel that you possibly could meet any of these criteria, there is an application online through the Department of Labor and it's through DOLA. You can search that and do an application online there, start that process, and applications are taking anywhere between 2 to 6 weeks to get reviewed and processed. But we definitely want to have all Colorado residents directed there and apply, and hopefully your application will be approved and processed and payment will be sent out timely. But that program is definitely available. It's up and running, and we encourage all Colorado residents to apply there.
Yes, we partner with Bank on Denver. If you want to apply for bankondenver.com, that's the main website. You go up to the upper right corner and there's a little tagline that says COVID-19. The application is both in English and in Spanish. And if you want to apply there for some mortgage assistance, that is currently available. And we partner with our housing partners to ensure that you get to the resources that you need so that you can save your home and save your equity. That's our number one goal. And so, yes, there are free funds available to folks to help save their homes.
Perfect. Now, what about special programs for people struggling? I'm sorry. What about special programs for veterans or active duty military? Panel?
Not aware of, and certainly anyone else may know of, I'm not aware of any specific programs just for veterans. Certainly they can contact the VA's office for that, but they would, have access to all of the same options, all of these assistance programs we're talking about, as well as forbearance or partial claims or loan modifications or anything like that. But I'm not aware of anything specific for veterans or those that are active in military, although the foreclosure timeline is a little bit different while you're in active military. Again, I don't know if anyone else has different knowledge than I do.
Not necessarily regarding extra assistance, although all the veterans would qualify for the programs that we've announced. However, if you have a VA loan, you bought your home with a VA loan, it's possible that there may be some other federal protections, but we're willing to research that and find that out for you.
That's super helpful. It's super helpful. And from what I understand too, is that a lot of different companies that service the mortgage or yeah, that service your mortgage have benefits on their own. So I think it would be helpful if you don't know, if you haven't looked, see if those programs are in there as well too. It is absolutely beneficial. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're not quite sure, just hit us up and we'll do our best to help navigate you to some of those resources if they're not easy to find. But again, you know, the VA is a great start for that as well too. Another question, can you describe what a short sale foreclosure resource is? And I think people should know about this situation is what the comment and the question is.
I can explain a little bit about that option.
Mhm.
Is an option that the banks have when some of the clients there they cannot afford for the payment, and they have to uh, sell the house, and it's a short sale when the house is worth less than a debt, and then is when they call short sale because they're gonna sell the house for less money that they owe, and the bank gonna approve that short sale. That means after that sells, they don't owe any money. That is the short sale. But here in Colorado, I think for at this moment we don't have any short sales because the prices went too high. So the most of the people have equity in their home. So we encourage everybody that is facing foreclosure, call the counselor and help and get help. So they sell the house on time and they can keep their equity and they move on and something else. So yeah, in Colorado, it's really rare to have a short sale at this time. But it's yeah, that is when they sell for less money they owe, and they don't, after that they don't have any debts. So I hope this helped to understand the short sale.
Mr. Davies, is there anything from our office that you think that would be helpful in a scenario like that? Do you see anything on a regular basis that really involves short sales or maybe perhaps some um, predicaments that folks end up getting in?
I want to just echo what Veronica was just talking about. I mean, with most homes right now having some equity in them, short sales don't really happen that much right now. But I used to see them a lot back in the 2007, 8, 9 era. And it's not something our office handles very much, but it is a viable way out of foreclosure in those circumstances where you can work out that with your lender. And if there's not enough equity in the property to cover your mortgage. The only other thing I wanted to say regarding the special programs for active duty military, as I also don't know of any special programs through our office, but I did want to say part of the foreclosure process involves what's called a Rule 120 hearing. And the Rule 120 hearing gives the borrower an opportunity to say, hey, I shouldn't be in foreclosure because of X. And one of the things that you should tell the people if you're going to participate in your Rule 120 hearing, you should put this in your response, is that you are active duty military. It may actually have an effect. There's a piece of federal law that I'm not overly familiar with, because again, this is outside our office, that may give you some relief from foreclosure if you're active duty military, but they would only be able to determine that in the Rule 120 hearing. So I would speak to an attorney about that. If you're active duty military, make sure you put it in your response if you're going to respond, and attend a Rule 120 hearing.
And I think that it may be called Sailors and Soldiers Act. And it as you mentioned, John, it allows for a stay on the foreclosure action if you are actually in active military duty. But again, you know, directing active military person to their VA office, I'm sure that they would be able to give them some specifics on that.
That's really good input, and that's actually really, really helpful for folks that are looking for that. That's the end of our questions. So at this point, what I want to be able to do is have the panelists just invite you guys to make any kind of closing comments or last bits of advice, something that maybe that wasn't asked, and then we can have everybody go back to enjoying their evenings. Mr. Tafoya.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. First and foremost, like, Paul said, we work for the city and county of Denver. We work for you. Your taxes help pay us so that we can do this work for you. This stuff gets complicated, and sometimes it's designed to be complicated, but we're here. We're here to help you. We want to help you and guide you to the right resources, to the free resources. Even when we make comments like talk to an attorney, we have free legal resources that we can direct you to so you can have that conversation. And if you're already struggling financially, the last thing you need is additional debt coming in for, if you don't need it. So if you can get free legal counsel versus paid legal counsel at this time in the foreclosure process, get free legal counsel and work with your HUD certified counselor and work with us so that we can help you keep your home, keep your equity, and in the future, you'll be able to transfer that wealth to your children and your grandchildren, because that's really what it's all about. And I know the mayor says live, work, and play in Denver. I say stay, live, work, and play in Denver. And that's what we want to do to help you.
And you're seeing that there's a little list of our HUD-approved counseling agencies and whatnot. So, and know that there's going to be more of these town halls as well too. John, Veronica, Charlotte, Enrica, and Mr. Sanchez, do you think is there anything else you want to add to close out?
I would just kind of echo on the point that at any time during the foreclosure process that the person is unsure of, working with a HUD certified counselor is going to be able to provide, an information resource where they're hearing evaluating your case and responding with a non-product based recommendation. So they're not going to be biased in that sense. It's going to be geared towards what your goals are, whether it was that question about selling before their forbearance eats into their equity, or what all the home retention options are. Just always consulting with a HUD-approved housing counselor. Thank you.
Now, there are certain instances where people are not HUD approved housing counseling agencies, right? You have some scammers out there, and what are some of the things we need to look out for that are open for fraud? What should people on this call look out for?
A typical red flag that I would say is if someone is asking for any payment upfront or making any sort of guarantee to their client, I would just say that is a very big red flag. As Alvin shared with us, all these resources are free, as well as Veronica mentioned. So if somebody is attempting to entice someone with a guarantee and requesting payment upfront, I would be very weary of that guarantee.
Right. Uninvited phone calls
as well. Yes.
Right? Sometimes, folks on the call and participants in this town hall, I get these weird text messages about my loans and strange phone numbers, or folks that want to buy my house, or folks that want to, create have me jump into some kind of service for a like 0.1% loan, which is non-existent, right? So you want to look out for those kind of things. If it's too good to be true and they want to give you some, they want you to pay them for it, it probably smells fishy. Don't do it. Hit us up. Give us a call first. Anything else, folks, that you want to add to close?
Yeah, I just want to say that you are totally right that if it sounds really good to be true, is the most sure it's not true. But yeah, nobody can guarantee any results because the bottom line, the resolution gonna be taken from the lender for each client, and it's based on client situation. So nobody can guarantee the results. So it's another thing that you can get as a red flag. If somebody's telling you, I guarantee I'm gonna modify your loan, that's not true because it's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody offer you that, be alert because maybe it can be an scam.
And don't give anybody your social security number or any private information out there if you didn't call and hit us up about anything like that. You know, I think that's something that, you know, we really want to be careful on, and especially with our elders and folks who are in some tough situations. I know this growing up as a kid, and you know, with my family, you know, I shared on the last town hall, I probably moved about 26, 27 times in my life, right? All throughout the city. And I get the struggle, but make sure that, you know, the assistance you seek is solid and it is credible, right? And don't volunteer to give your information up just like that, right? So Enrica Bustos, I think you have an idea when it comes to, you know, some help in terms of a phone number and and folks that are in search of assistance.
Yeah, so they can call Colorado Housing Connects, and that number is 844-926-6632.
Okay, yeah.
And it's also in the chat. Yes, absolutely.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Enrica. Go ahead.
No, and I was just saying, these are going to get us connected to all of the local Denver housing counseling agencies. So please make sure to reach out, and we will get you directly connected to the Denver area housing counseling agency.
And you're welcome to call the agencies individually as well.
Hey, Paul, I just want to mention on the issue of fraud, remember that the Office of Financial Empowerment and Protection has a consumer financial protection arm. And so they can call us, right? And one of the things that we do cover is fair housing, fair lending, and also elder financial abuse. And so, you know, act on behalf of our older adults so that we can take care of them. You know, it's a human thing, it's a cultural thing. We want to take care of our older adults and make sure that they're not being tricked into signing over their homes or selling their homes for less than what they're worth. And so always, always, always use a trusted source in us and our partners at this table. Thank you.
Well, thank you, panel. I don't know if there's anything else from the panel, John.
I just wanted to really quick say, this is a really strong partnership, and this is a lot of information and can be confusing. And I just wanted to make sure I say, if you're sitting at home and you need help and you don't know who to call, don't let that be a hindrance. Just call any of us and we'll make sure you get to the right source. So like Alvin likes to say, no wrong door. So just make sure you give us a call if you need some help. We'll make sure you get the help you need.
Absolutely. So thank you, panel. Thank you so much for your work individually. Make sure that you thank the organizations on our behalf as well too. Again, Office of Financial Empowerment and Protection, our office, the Office of the Denver Clerk and Recorder and Public Trustee, NewSed, Denver Housing Authority, Brothers Redevelopment. Thank you all for being so helpful, so eager, and on the ready to stand in the gap. And Mr. Sanchez, thank you so much for your expertise and your input. I think that's absolutely valuable. Al, you seem to have your hand up. Nope. Okay, he's just doing this thing. So I have to say, just to those of you in the public, please don't hesitate. There is no wrong door, and the first step is reaching out to us, right? And that's one of the things that I just really want to emphasize. Reach out to us for assistance. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel ashamed. None of that. That's why this exists, and that's why this partnership exists, is to make sure that you are making the choices that are well informed, and you have a whole city here to support you, a whole structure here to support you as you do that. I have to say, before we end this, stay safe, wear your mask, we're turning a corner. Vaccines are here. Make sure that you look up on our Denver website as well too for more information about that. Keep that 6-foot distance. We're doing really, really well as a city. We'll get there. We're going to turn a corner, and we're doing it right now. So with that, have a lovely evening, and until next time, thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Lopez.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.